Yeah, hopefully. I was going to say, hopefully I get the applause. So hi, my name's Remi, and I was here last year talking about Fuse, and then at that point I built a couple of app screens, or a pretty large part of a conference app live, with this huge Rube Goldberg contraption for filming it all, and so on. And well, it's a year since last time, and we figured we'd do a small update. For those of you who saw me last time, you know Fuse is an app development tool suite. You probably knew as much if you're in here. You use it to make apps, you code, amongst other things, but at a slightly higher level, it's about fixing workflows. So, yes, it's about writing code, but it's about thinking a bit more about it, doing it more efficiently. Better abstractions for the things you want to do, writing less code, and focusing more on the real job as well. And we also accept and approve of the fact that you need designers and other visual work for building apps as well. It's an end user facing thing, so designers should be able to do more of the work. Again, what it really comes down to is you make native apps for iOS and Android with native integrations, generate native code, you control your business logic from JavaScript. We have the best XML-based markup in the world for doing all things visual. And I'll keep saying that. We're really about fast iterations. Again, it's about building something visual. You don't write perfect code, build it, everything works. You iterate, you test out new ideas, you try, you fail. One of our existing customers do 100 app projects for each single app they put on a real device, for instance. So it's about getting to that point, finding out what works quickly. And we do really, really good user interfaces. Yeah, so all of this still true. So the answer is, of course, yes, but it's about more new stuff as well. Since last time I was here, we've seen tons of adoption. There's users in over 180 countries now. I had to double check that one, and one of the countries turns out to be the nice land of anonymous proxy, but it's about 180 countries. Lots of community groups and meetups. In the last 4 weeks, there's been stuff in San Francisco, New York, DC, Rio in Brazil, Russia, Latvia, Romania, Italy, and tons of other places. Thing on that, actually. Some of the guys in Rio did a to-do app in 8 minutes at their startup, so I'll have to up my game or stop doing live demos. Lots of uptake from different types of businesses, from app houses and smaller freelance shops to really large enterprises. We have a Fortune 500 bank, some really massive technology companies, hotel chains, large telecom operators. Fuse actually ended up on the curriculum for a couple of Korean universities as well, which is pretty awesome. And of course, this has led to more apps as well. Whoops. Love to dive into more of these, really, but it's a spread from well, Chile to Norway on these ones, tons more. We released the first version of our visual tooling, Fuse Studio, and actually 2 more releases after that. We're still about writing code, or you're able to do anything in a text editor, but there's not everyone who likes to work that way, and there's not everything that's best suited for working on in a text editor. So here you can build components inside the tool, tweak the design, adjusting anything from colors to margins to actually compositing your full app pages. All of this happens while your previews are running live on devices. So you can have 5 iOS devices, 5 Android devices, and work in the app on this and get updates on everything. Obviously, there's also tons of, let's say, more classical developer features. We have some really good, we have the beginning of a really good debug feature in here as well. And we'll just keep building on this one. Obvious next steps are, animation editors and timelines, things like that. And seeing as we're so good at visual stuff, at UIs, at animation, at making stuff just be really, really nice. And we're also no believers in killing off all the, there's no real competition. It's about other tools that are also good to use. So why not integrate with them? Yes, it's nicer this way. So effectively, this lets you build a single component or a set of components or a full app page, export it as native libraries, and include it in, we like to call them legacy projects, but that's just a slightly nicer way of saying stuff you didn't start with Fuse. But effectively, it lets you integrate Fuse things in apps you already have or apps you'd like to develop from the bottom up using the regular native tools. We added a really nice charting feature, so you can really make numbers look good. You can also animate them. We added we did release some of our own UI or UX kits, but more importantly is the feature of being able to very easily theme and style different apps. One obvious use case is a large enterprise where your lead designer makes your brand identity, your brand kit, so that each time someone has a good idea and throws together a prototype or a quick app, they're actually using approved components, stuff looks good from the get-go. Another option is, of course, all those companies out there who sell the same product to all their customers with slightly different styling. That's a lot nicer with our setup. I'm actually not sure how I am on time, but I'll just carry on anyway. So all of these are out. Some of them are still in development, under improvement. We did tons of other stuff as well. I'd be happy to do a separate session on UX expressions alone because it's coder porn. But we'll be leaking a bit about the future. One of our coming attractions is this. So React Native has a really interesting ecosystem. They're building tons of packages. They're backed by some really large companies. I mean, Airbnb's map package, for instance, is very nice stuff. And we figured their technology makes sense. They also have this kind of native controlled by JavaScript, although they do it quite differently from us, but we can play nice. So we're adding the feature to actually just include React Native packages. So you need some sort of third-party backend integration, some exotic feature that there's no off-the-shelf Fuse package for, and you'd rather not write any of that native code to integrate it. You get this from NPM instead. Likewise, if you'd like to build you build an app mostly with React Native UI components, you can actually configure them and control them from our UX markup and our tooling on top of that. Not going to say a lot of bad words about JSX in React Native, but I will say that UX markup is the best markup in the world. And obviously, you can do the same here as with Xcode and Android Studio. Export a single component or a view from Fuse and use it in your React Native apps as well. So basically, it's about finding the places where we really make sense. I might be overrunning on time, but we'll gamble. Tons of JavaScript updates for the ones who have been using some of our stuff before. You've been missing this or asking for it. Finally, ES6 support, a different way to structure your apps without the observables and reactive programming that a lot of people spend some extra time getting their heads around. Even further, improved app navigation, testability is easier. That basically comes from, a new best practice for how to structure large app projects and so on, and lots more. But as always, we're available at Fuse Tools, and you can play with everything for free as before as well. So please check us out, or re-check us out. Thanks.